Hello guys, and today we have here another very awesome deck. We have here a Burning Abyss deck because they got real support in the Cross Souls pack, while all the other decks got Zephyr monsters, which, unless you're playing Stellanites, you're not probably going to be using them. So, as far as the new cards go, I am running the Fusion because I wanted to test it out, and it is actually pretty decent. Not being able to be targeted, really nice. It is a draw power card, and yeah, but it still requires a lot. It requires 3 different Burning Abyss monsters, so that can be a little bit scary, and it requires the Fusion spell card, of course. But I threw in the Ritual spell card so that way we can search. So you mill Cogna, dump him. Next turn you dump something to search, and then you just go for it. And it's really nice. The thing though that I'd really like to see Burning Abyss get is their own draw power card, discard a Burning Abyss, draw 2 cards, something like that. But in the meantime, the beginning of the end does it pretty well. In fact, even better because it draws 3 cards. So I'm just going to go through the deck profile real quick. BLS, OTK guy, I just had an amazing duel with him that you guys would see tomorrow. And new note, in some of the duels you guys will see tomorrow, there will be Mathematician instead of Kree Bandit in some of them. Because I was testing out Mathematician originally. But no, BLS, he's just amazing. And you do have to banish either a Virgil or a Dante or any of your light XZ monsters that you make, or maybe even the Fusion. But that is something. But he will help you get out and go for game pretty much. And then we run 3 Surge. If you don't know his effect, all the Burning Abyss monsters can be spell summoned if you do not control any back row. And if he is sent to the graveyard, you can spell summon a Burning Abyss from grave. Cogna will send a spell trap card, the Burning Abyss spell trap card from your deck to the graveyard. Calcab will return a set face down spell trap card to the hand. And Libic will special summon a Fiend, a level 3 Fiend from your hand with its effect negated. So that's really good if you have a 3 bandit on field or a 2 guy on field and somehow you mill him and you still have this guy on field. You can then special summon Graph, or maybe somehow you have a Graph on field that's negated. Now you can summon 2 guy, no worries, and go even more plus. So here's there. Alex will negate a monster's effect to the end of the turn. This guy is a newer one. Krahagig. If sent to graveyard, you can put a Burning Abyss on top of your deck. So if you're gonna make 2 Dantes and you mill them with the first one, then you can then set up for your second play. We are not running Barbar because he banishes and we kind of need them in grave for another card that banishes, and his 900 damage isn't all that good. So we are running Drahig instead, and then we are running Farfa, who will banish 1 if sent to graveyard. 3 Graph, spell summons from deck. In late game, he becomes very dead because you don't have any in deck unless you use Jar of Avarice. So do note that. Kree Bandit, this card is searchable by Scarum, as I will get to later, but he, if normal summoned, will activate the top 5 cards, and then you can add a spell trap card. So he's really great for getting those spell trap cards you want, and then you just get rid of a whole bunch of monsters from your deck. So that is really nice, great to set up for the beginning of the end. You get effects and all the whatnot. Tour Guide, it's a Dante and a half. You summon out Graph, you summon out Sir, you make Dante, you detach, and then their effects will special summon another Burning Abyss monster, which means you have a Dante and a half. Scarm will search for any level 3 Dark Fiend during the end phase if it's sent to the graveyard, so he is pretty important. We run 1 Rubik so we can make the Virgil. He has no other effect other than that he's a tuner and that he can special summon himself from hand. 2 Maxi, so that way we can draw into cards. We don't run any hand traps, which normally I like to run if I'm running Maxi, but that's because we're running the Phoenix Wing Blast and Karma Cut, and sometimes just being able to draw into a Graph or the Sir, and then using the Phoenix Wing Blast Karma Cut already set, that can be really, really nice, and then go plus even more. 1 Reject Key, 1 Terminus of the Burning Abyss. This has 2 effects. The first one is to fusion summon a Burning Abyss monster from your extra deck. Some monsters from your hand or graveyard, and you can banish the card from the graveyard, target 1 Burning Abyss monster on the field. It will gain 800 attack until the end of your opponent's next turn, so boosting attack isn't all that bad. 1 Soul Charge, 2 Beginning of the End. This is our draw power card. If there are 7 or more dark monsters in your graveyard, remove from play 5. From your graveyard, draw 3. The ones you'd want to remove from play would be the Calcap, the one-offs pretty much. You want to remove them pretty much. Those would be the best. Cogna does nothing after you send your first good and evil. And then if you have to banish something else, you can banish a Kree Bandit or your Graph or use one of them. So He is really great. Drawing 3 cards can just be amazing because now you have all the stuff you need to go for the fusion summon or for another XZ summon, so that's nice. Here's our Swiss Army knife. You can use them to search, you can use them to bounce back row, you can use them to special them from hand, you can use it to negate a monster's effect, to put a card on top of your deck. It's just the Swiss Army knife. And then Good of Evil. This is the ritual spell card from Hakoda, which obviously we are not running, but if he is in the graveyard, you banish it, discard a Burning Abyss, and then add a Burning Abyss card from your deck to your hand, and so you can add Terminus. So if you open up with it, if it's in your hand somehow, you have to discard it with either your traps or your Virgil, or if you can make him, you can, I believe, yeah, you can send one Burning Abyss card, so you can then use it for him as well. So yeah. And then for Soul Charge again, we have Traveler and the Burning Abyss. I like this card a lot. It's just good because you just get a special summon 3, 4, 5 monsters from your graveyard, and it's like, screw you, and make even more plays. It makes your good plays even better because you've just went through a whole bunch of Burning Abyss monsters. Now you can special summon as any which ones you want, so you can just go off like crazy. Great for the fusion and just whatnot. Or if it's your opponent's turn, it's like, oh, you're gonna attack after you got rid of 2 Dantes that each had a Burning Abyss attached to them. Okay, special summon all 4 of them back. Who are you gonna hit? Crush card. The targets would be Graph. You have who else can you send? Skarm, Farfa, and Decree Bandit, and 2 guys, and Rubik. So if you get that, you can look at your opponent's hands and they lose monsters with 1500 or more attack. And then you have Phoenix Wing Windblast, which will just return a card to the top of the deck by discarding a card. Just great to discard a Sir, Graph, Skarm, and then just go off, or maybe even Dragonic, and then you can control what you're going to draw into. And then Karma Cut's maybe arguably better than Phoenix Wing Windblast because it also banishes any copies of that card that it banishes in the graveyard with the same name, so that is very good for that. And Karma Cut it's just really good. Both of these cards are great against Shadows, great against Cliffords, great against Necros, so there is that. And then 2 Jar of Avarice. Of course, you want to use this to return your Dantes, because it's really bad when you get in that situation where you're Danteing a Sir, Sir's getting a Dante, Dante's getting the Sir, or you have to Dante a Dante so you don't run out of them. So that is something to note. Really good, but if you can't do that, then it's just good to return your beginning of the ends if you haven't used them, or your trap cards, or your Maxi is really nice. So yeah, the Jar of Avarice is really good. And then as far as the main deck goes, it's really quick, really fast. As long as you can if you get beginning of the end, you're good, but you don't really need it too much. As long as you can open up with some Burning Abyss stuff and go off, then you are good. With the extra deck, the Fusion. He cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects, and during either player's turn, you can send a Burning Abyss card from your hand to graveyard, draw 1 card, so that's 2 cards pretty much. And again, really good if you have like a Graph or stuff, so you can go even more plus. And if it's destroyed by battle, it's sent to graveyard, or it's sent to graveyard by opponent's card effect, you can send 1 round card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, so you can make them lose cards from their hand. Really wish there would be a Fire and Ice Hand type card that did that. Like, when this card's destroyed by your opponent's card effect, destroy 1 card in your opponent's hand. That would just be amazing. That would be amazing. And then Virgil, when you discard a Burning Abyss, will shuffle a card on the field into the deck. This card here is for Towers. Probably should be in the side because I'm saying this card should be in the side. But Towers is a thing, so you can use Rank Up Astral Force onto this guy to make this guy who will have 3500 attack under Towers, and then you can attack over Towers. 2 Downward Magician to put on top of your Dantes. And an Asp Golem to help go for game. This guy again is used for making this guy, but if you want to know his effect, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, and you cannot be destroyed by card effects when it's targeted for attack. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage. You get an Alucard to pop back row, a Lavier to summon out cards. Like, a lot of these are just generic. All you really need is the Burning Abyss stuff. That's pretty much it. Dante mills 3 from the top of the deck and gains 500 for each. If it attacks, it goes to defense position. If it leaves the field, if it hits the graveyard, you can target a Burning Abyss card and add it to your hand. And so that is Dante. You have to run 3 of them. And then F-Zero Future Hope. This card's amazing because you can XZ summon him with using 2 Dantes. And it cannot be destroyed by battle. Neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card. And if it attacks a monster, you can control that monster until the end of the battle phase. So that's really nice. You can get rid of a monster, then attack with all your other monsters. So that is very cool. And the whatnot. And then you can use your Dantes and detach them and whatnot. And so yeah, Future Hope is really nice. I would recommend running 2. And yeah, that is the deck. Do have Rank Up Actual Force in the side because Clifford's are a thing. And in fact, I'm thinking this deck, honestly, I don't think this deck is going to be that good this one. Which on the plus side makes this deck cheaper. But I don't think it's going to be good because you're going to be fighting against Max Sears and Yukio Sagi's, which is Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and Effect Failures. And then you're going to be facing Lose a Turn, Recreate, just a whole bunch of bad cards. The Genlock can be really bad against this, so Necros is still a thing that can make this deck really annoyed. And so, just a lot of stun cards this format that can just poop on this deck. Winder is still a card that can be annoying for Burning Abyss. Shekini Augur can be annoying. And then you have UAs. UAs are getting becoming pretty good, and they can do a lot. So, this deck, I don't think it's going to be the best deck in the world. This format, and so yeah, and yeah, that is the deck in a nutshell. It's a really fun deck to play. I like playing Burning Abyss, and the duel I just had was beautiful because I had 0 cards left in deck, and I had the fusion. I had all 3 Dantes, and I had an Alucard. He had 1 set card, so I popped it. It was a Hedgehog. Got off his search, and then I was like, summon BLS for game with 3 Dantes, this guy, and an Alucard. And it was funny because I ran out of cards, but then I used Draw of Avarice to return all the cards to my deck, and then I ran them out again. I was like, I have 2 left. Summon the 2 again. I hadn't played that game. Special summon it. Special summon the Burning Abyss. Discard the other Burning Abyss to use the fusion monster's effect to drew into my BLS, and it was just amazing. Just amazing. So this deck, it is good, but can it play against Lose a Turn? Can it play against all the awful cards this format? I mean, Yosenjus are still very controllative, and they can be like a Lose a Turn for days. So yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, Lose a Turn is annoying to both this guy and this guy, but not to Dante. Dante would be just like, it's cost mill. So, who knows? You won't be able to play aggressively with Lose a Turn, which can be bad for this deck, because this deck is very aggressive. But you never know. At the same time, you can then go even more plus, because you special summon them, in whatever. You special summon them, the effects will become negated. Oh, now I can normal summon Career Bandit, now I can normal summon Tour Guide or Mathematician or whatever you run. So, there's some room to mess around. Against decks. I really don't know if this deck can do all that well. Tunes are going to become a thing eventually, and yeah, all we can do is wait and see. So if you guys have any concerns, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys later. Don't forget there will be a duel with this deck tomorrow, and so thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Bye.